Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson are on a camping trip. No shit, Sherlock. Watson arrives to visit Sherlock and finds the front door slightly ajar. He suspects foul play and quietly enters the home. He hears some noise from the bedroom and peeks in to find Sherlock naked in bed with a young girl. He says, "My God, Sherlock, what are you doing?" She must be junior high school aged. Sherlock grins at him and says, "Elementary." "My dear Watson, elementary. They could have brought an extra shelter. I suppose that would have been too tense." Till Jamaican culture was influenced by Indian immigrants, and that's where Rastafarianism comes from. Indians introduced curry, cannabis, and even dreadlocks to Jamaica. Indian mystics roam around smoking weed, with dreadlocks in India all the time. It's definitely not where Rastafarianism comes from. It had an influence, but that's it. Rastafari is an Abrahamic religion, a strange branch of Christianity like the LDS or the Mennonites, except rooted in Pan-Africanism and holding an Ethiopian king to be a prophet messiah. I always thought it was coincidence when I see dreadlocks in India. These days, only really seen with Holoman. Jamaica is a fabulous melting mix of so many peoples. Wait till you read about Trinidad. Till one big obstacle standing in the way of clean energy in California is the lack of high tension power lines that can move the electricity. Developing the new grid to accommodate solar farms may take a decade. Power is also lost with distance. This means efficient systems produce power as close to consumption as realistically possible. High-tension lines help deliver high power with less loss than other systems, but they are not pretty. Expect the same people that want to blog from their beach house to protest about the lines to bring power to them. Not to mention PG, who have been fucking over the state for a long time now and who refuse to update or manage their infrastructure, which has led to a good portion of the fires plaguing the state. TAL that a blue moon happens when a full moon appears multiple times in a month and not when the moon becomes blue. Twice in a month, hence the saying once in a blue moon meaning rarely. That multiple being two. Multiple times of a full moon in a month, multiple being two, nothing more. Which is why we're seeing lots of photos of today's super blue moon. The fact it's a supermoon is impressive because it's actually slightly closer to Earth and thus a bit bigger in the sky. The blue designation is meaningless since month boundaries are completely arbitrary, i.e. made up. The entire purpose of a bayonet. I'm gonna use this one in a DND campaign, thanks. Kinda dull, but made me smile. Cheers. When both of you are out of ammo, the guy with the spear wins. No, it's to bring a spear to a club fight. Guns without bayonets are pointless. Oh, I've always thought it was to camouflage a gun in a knife fight. Guess I learned something new. Use the gun when the enemy doesn't get the point. Yes, and it's necessary. All my Rs have bayonet lugs. Hand-to-hand after shells are gone. This is a very valid point, with a quite large handle behind it. Perfect for COVID times. 6 feet points bayonet. I said 6 feet. I thought it was used to poke holes in arguments. What product was so poorly designed that you suspect the team that made it never used the product? My refrigerator has a water filter that cannot be changed without turning off the supply, which is behind the refrigerator. So you have to pull the multi-100-pound fridge with all the food and such out to turn the water off before you can change the water filter. The old Maytag it replaced had no such requirement. My new iron has a restart if you tip it over after it's timed out. So if you accidentally leave it plugged and it gets knocked over by accident, pet or child bumps the board when knocks something over, knocking the iron over, it starts up while face down.